I have another one of my kits to show you today to give you some ideas. I call it my Contingency Kit. It has been curated over many years as a response to the many times I said to myself, I wish I had whatever right now. Well, I've collected a whole kit of those whatevers for just such an occasion while I'm away from home. After my mobile charging kit, and my tech extension kit, both of which I'll put links to at the end of this video. This is my most frequently carried kit. I don't carry it around on normal days. My pocket EDC covers what I need around town, but for a day trip or longer, this kit is always with me. And I hope it will give you some ideas that you can use for your own kits when you're away from home. Okay, I used to keep this kit in a Peak Design pouch, this Peak Design Tech pouch, which I like quite a bit. I really like this pouch, but it's a little bit bigger than I wanted to. It started getting hard to fit in a lot of bags, and so I moved down to this slightly smaller footprint, if you can see that. And when this is packed, this is as thick. They're equally thick, but it gives you a little, an inch in each direction smaller. But yet I ended up fitting, even though this is the Peak Design is a bigger pouch, I ended up fitting almost everything, essentially everything, in this smaller pouch. Of course, it's packed to the gills, and it required a massive amount of 3D Tetris, as you'll see, but I got it in here, and this is so much easier to fit into smaller bags. Of course, the same contents means the same weight, but the space savings is really good, particularly, like I said, in fitting it into smaller bags. Okay, so this pouch is an Initech. I think they just call it electronics organizer. I don't know. But it opens flat, has really good organization on the inside. It's really well made. And, I've tortured this one. Yeah, you probably saw how much it was stretching at the seams, bursting to maximum density, but it's held up and it's still going strong. I'm looking good, actually. I'm kind of surprised at how hundreds of in and out of my bag and kind of up and down and dropped and whatever. And it still looks really good. Also, the zippers are a real pleasure to use. It's Yoshida, like we all prefer, YKK, but these ones are particularly smooth. I don't know what's different about this, but they're very nice. Okay, so I think we should weigh it first to get an idea of what we're working with. I think it's probably around 2.5 pounds-ish, if I remember correctly. 2.3, not 2.3, sorry, 2 pounds, 3 ounces. And in grams, that is almost 1,000 grams, so 995. So do with that what you will. Okay, let's start with the attachments before we get it open. Here's a Spuds microfiber cloth. It's just a little baggie that has a microfiber cloth on the inside. It's super handy to have it attached. I attach it to the outside of all my bags, and some pouches like this one and my main sling bag. It's just great to have a little microfiber cloth that can stay clean in its own little pouch, and it's just handy to grab anytime. I don't have to get inside anything. Ready to wipe my phone screen, my camera, lenses, sunglasses, reading glasses, etc. It's great. This is a Hero clip. It's essentially a carabiner with a hook on it. It allows you to hang something from anything, a bag or a pouch or anything you want from anything you want, because you can either clip it with the carabiner or you can hang it with the hook. And it works on the edge of a table too, you know, like you know, at a restaurant or whatever. It's really handy. I think Olo Clip was the original startup. I was an original Kickstarter or Indiegogo, I never know, supporter of this. But I think now that it's either sold to or licensed by Gear Aid. So when you're looking for it, look for Gear Aid Hero Clip. I think that's the brand they're using now. Anyway, but like the Spuds microfiber cloth, this is attached to all my packs and main sling bag and a couple of pouches that I regularly need to hang or want to be able to. And I've attached these to jungle boats in Guatemala and ferries in Norway and vehicles and shelters and trees and everywhere I needed to hang something from a bar, a line, or table, or a branch. Okay, let's go inside. All right, there's a lot to cover here, as you can see, and I'm going to try to keep this video at a reasonable length. Okay, let's start over here. This is a Matador pocket blanket. There's a regular size pocket and there's a mini pocket blanket. And the mini is too small to be useful, but this is about a little over 5 feet long by almost 4 feet wide. So it's a good little picnic blanket for two. We use it as a picnic blanket. My wife sometimes uses it as an airplane blanket. She keeps one in her purse. And it can be an extra sheet in a hotel or camping, a little bit extra warmth, cover a dirty park bench or anything. And because it's highly water resistant, I even used it once to cover the leaky part of a tent that two of my scouts were staying in at summer camp, and it kept them dry all week. So I just laid it over top of where the leak was, and it kept the rain off. Anyway, good little thing to have on wet grass or whatever. Okay, and I don't, you know, like I say, I don't recommend the mini because it's just too small, but it's a good unit. Okay, next we have, let's try this. This is the Sea to Summit Ultrasil Day Pack, Ultrasil nylon. So it's very small, but this is actually kind of a mostly full-size day pack. I'm not going to unpack it because getting it this small to fit in this kit is quite an ordeal. But suffice it to say, it's a decent-sized day pack, which comes in very handy. You know, when we're traveling, you know, we can pull it out and put groceries in it. You know, usually my bag is full with this kit and the other things I'm carrying around, and so having a separate bag to bring out and carry souvenirs or groceries or anything, activity specific bags. So like say we're going to the beach, we can stuff beach stuff in it or anything. Little short hikes, it can turn into the day pack for the short hikes. Anyway, it's great. This is a Sea to Summit webbing with a buckle, and it just allows me to wrap this around a pole or a tree or anything and hang a pack or a bag or a pouch or anything from a tree just wrapped around. It just attaches to itself, and it's extremely strong, so it can carry about any pack that I have. Anyway, just good to have in here, a way to hang bags. Just comes in handy from time to time. Okay, and then this is a hat cover. So I have a lot of hats. I love wide brim hats, and so I have straw and fur felt and just a lot of different kinds of hats: Western, fedora, straw hats, Panama hats. And whenever it rains, some of my hats are kind of spendy, if you know what I mean. And I try to protect them with this cover. And it's like you'll see, you know, with when sometimes the police have a plastic cover on their hat, and this is like that, but it's meant for wide brim hats, and so it really accommodates about any hat I have. It's great. Okay. And then back here, I keep, oh, here's a little self-promotion, I guess. This is the Tight Spot Real-Time Guide for Wilderness Survival. I'm the author of this little survival guide. It folds out into a full-size guide. And it's on waterproof, tear-proof, flame-resistant paper. It's a great little guide, so I think it's the best wilderness survival guide on the market. Highly recommended. Anyway, link in the description. Then behind that, I have two more things. I have Tyvek envelopes that I've removed the seams from so they can be a waterproof surface to stand on. Very handy. And I've got extra Ziplocs. I always have Ziplocs in every one of my kits. This is actually kind of the food container for this, a Ziploc for this particular kit to go with the utensils we'll talk about in a minute. I always try to have some, sometimes it comes up that we need to transport food or eat food in an inopportune place, and a Ziploc can be a container, and these utensils can be the way to eat it. Okay. And really, uses for Ziplocs are endless, so I always keep them in all of my kits for whatever comes up. Okay, right here on the inside, these are Croakies, what do you call it? Croaky, I think they're called Arc Endless Croakies. Anyway, they attach to your glass, the arms of your glasses, and these just grip any size glasses. It's really impressive actually how they've gotten that super sticky rubber on the inside, and you just put anything in there and it just grabs it. Anyway, and it's on a little cable that you can adjust. And so in a windy condition, you can have your glasses really tight to your head, or you can have them kind of hang down around your neck, whatever you like. I just like the flexibility of this option. Okay, then next to that, I have SD cards. So I use Extreme Pro, SanDisk Extreme Pro, and I use 256 gig ones. I don't go any bigger than that because I don't want to lose that much footage if I do lose it, or if the card goes south or whatever. Some people don't go any bigger than 128, some don't even go bigger than 64, but 256 I feel pretty good about. And I have micro versions right here, and I have micros in all my drones, my Insta360, GoPros, etc. Anyway, they're big enough to not worry about running out, but they're not so big I'm tempted to delay dumping to my computer every night. I've made the mistake of not dumping every night in the past and lost great footage because the card failed or I lost the drone the next day. True story. Anyway, okay. So now let's move on. I think that's it, yeah, to the center section. Okay, I have a basic first aid kit. It's really just, I'm not going to get into this. It's just a mostly redundant because I carry a separate first aid kit when I'm traveling that's more involved. This is sort of redundant stuff or sort of fallback stuff in case that kit goes missing. And it's just basic stuff. Boo-boo, scratch and sniff kind of kit. Anyway, okay, and then I keep tape right here. So I keep gaffer tape, black gaffer tape here. I've moved from duct tape to gaffer tape entirely. And this is that NextCare flexible waterproof tape that's for medical, attaching gauze and everything. It's really good waterproof tape. I keep some electrical tape right here. And then I keep some Leuco tape, which is really good for blisters. So if you start getting a hot spot, I shouldn't say blisters, but as you get a hot spot, something starts rubbing. It's really good stuff because the adhesive is really strong. It truly feels like it's become a part of your skin. So get a hot spot, slap a square of this onto it, and the friction rubs across the fabric, you know, your shoe or whatever. My wife uses this all the time because she has uncomfortable shoes, as a lot of women choose, and this has saved her on many occasions. And okay, Leukotape. These links will be in the description so you can find this stuff. Don't have to remember. I keep a little bag in here, just a normal grocery bag, because you never know when you need to carry something that's wet or something that's that you don't want to get the rest of your stuff dirty or whatever. Handy. Oh, and then down in here I have a leather pot holder from a company called Firebox. They make folding metal firebox wood burning stoves. I have several of them, and but I just love this because it's just a little leather grip for hot things, or as like a hot, you know, if you have a hot pot or a hot cup or something, you can sit it down on this. You can, anyway, there's a ton of uses for this, and it's small and easy to keep in this. So I have it in here. I've used it for a bunch of different things. Okay. Oh, and in here we've got mini glow sticks right here and here. They're tiny, and you say, well, that's not very useful. I'm not doing it for light, I'm doing it for signaling. So what you do is they're in here, there's a glue stick, and I can glue some of this line to the end of this thing, and then what you do is it's a known signaling technique that the motion of the light and the what do you call it, the perpetuity of vision, or what do you call it, the persistence of vision, allows you to have a little tiny light become a really big signal. Anyway, what you do is you break it. Let me show you. And you glue this to a piece of string, and then you spin it around. You spin it around on the string in a circle, and you can see that for miles. So it's actually kind of a cool emergency signal to have. And I guess, you know, if all else fails in a super dark room, if everything's dead, this would provide a little bit of light. But I don't do it for that. I do it for signaling emergency. Okay, next. That's going to be annoying to look at. Okay, next, let's go on to this side. Okay, so we have first a Sunto clipper. It's their little mini compass that clips onto a map, onto the side of a map. Anyway, I like it because, number one, it's a Sunto, so I know it's going to be well made and you know, relatively accurate, better than the kind of garbage that you might get. Much less expensive, but also because it is a backup. I usually have my global Sunto compass, the really nice one, in my gear when I'm traveling. So it's really just a backup. Okay, next, let's see. Let's go with these utensils here. Okay, so these are the Yuko Switch spork. They call it spork, but it's not. It's a spoon and a fork utensil set. And what I love about that, I used to use these Go Bites, like by Human Gear. They're great, and they now, you know, they attach together too. And what I loved about them was that you could attach them like so. Oops, sorry, like so, and it would become a long spoon or fork, whatever you needed. And I love that, but the problem is that it didn't have a knife. So I actually ended up making my own. If you can see that, I created serrations with a round file, just a little bit, but it actually works. I've cut steak with this thing, you know, just. But I was thinking, you know, I'd like a little bit more of a knife, and so I was on the lookout, and then I stumbled on these this Yuko unit, and they have a knife. So, and it's a good one. So I've got a knife, fork, spoon, that nest. And do they extend, like you may ask? Yes, they do. So you turn them this way and it becomes the same thing. Spoon, fork. Anyway, it's kind of a little bit of an improvement, I think. But that's what I'm experimenting with right now, that set. Okay. Then next I have, let's go below this. We'll start below. Back here I have a thin optics readers, reading glasses. They're great, super flexible, and they just pinch on the bridge of your nose. They're not super comfortable, but they're not uncomfortable either. They're kind of an emergency. I always have my own readers, you know, like right now. But in case those break or I lose them, I've got a backup pair in this kit. Okay. So then let's go back over here on this side. I've got a cordage kit that I just a variety of things that I like to have with me. This is that tarred bank twine number 36 that can be split into 3 cords for various uses. I think it's 300 pounds full, and you know, around 100 pounds each for the threads or the lines. Forgetting the terminology. Anyway, then I've got some Dyneema cord here, super strong, and just regular kind of cordage here. I've got a Dyneema soft shackle here, which is essentially a fabric carabiner with a stopper knot on the other side. Comes in handy on a regular basis. And I've got S-beaner, locking S-beaner clips here that are part of that. I've got a binder clip down here, and I've got these. I can't even remember who makes this. I'm gonna look it up and I'll try to put it in the description, but these are gear holders. You can, you know, attach these to skis or whatever or trekking poles or whatever. You can attach them to each other and become a long attachment, and you can attach anywhere along here in any of these holes. So it's kind of handy to have. Keep that down along the bottom. Okay, so then okay, so let's go over to this side. In fact, I'll take this out for a second. Here's a night core NU25. It's I think it's 400 lumen. I'm not sure, but it has a spotlight, it has a floodlight, it has red lights, and in each of those modes, oh, and also you can have both flood and spot at the same time. And in each of those modes, there's a high and medium and low, or just a high and low in 1 or 2 of those. Anyway, this is my favorite headlamp right now. Just really, really well made and reliable, and I can stick it in this kit fully charged and not touch it for 6 months, go back in and it's fully charged. And I don't know how they do that, but it seems like a very smart battery. Anyway, it's great, super light, super handy. Okay, next to it is a little pair of Venom Steel nitrile gloves for whenever you need gloves. So changing a tire or doing some first aid or whatever you might need, or as glove liners in super cold weather. Anyway, keep those here. And okay. Oh, and up here I have a Fisher Space Pen Bullet, which everybody knows about, but it's my favorite pen. I've been using these since I was a kid. It was an early gift I got from my dad, and I love these. They write, you know, in water and through grease and upside down and all the stuff that everybody talks about. Okay, let me put that back down there. Okay, and then next is this Ricola tin. And so what I'm gonna do is move this out of the way for a second. And let's talk about this tin. Everybody loves their little tin kits, don't they? And there's lots of ideas in here that I may have learned from others, and many that I figured out myself. But you know, a lot of people use the Altoids tin, and I used to, but I don't like it because these corners are too gradual. So you essentially are wasting some interior space. I don't like it. So they're just, it's not as efficient of a use of space. Anyway, I found this Ricola. I have this tape on here just for a piece of tape to use, but it's Ricola mints or cough drops or whatever. I don't even know if I got this in Europe or here. I can't even remember. But it's bigger, it's deeper, it's longer slightly, and it's slightly wider. So it gives you just a little bit of extra room, and it's a more efficient space because the corners are tighter. So you can have longer things in here and use more of the space rather than, you know, shortening everything. And there's a lot of different, you know, a lot of different things you could use. In fact, this is a Rovivon case for one of my A8s, my EDC light of choice. Just came in this, and it's actually a good little case, and it's, you know, similar in size. You could use this instead of this, and just so happens I'm using this right now. But there's other things, you know. I think this is County Com. They make some of these, and this is just in Trader Joe's mini tin. I was trying to fit things in because it's smaller than all these, but couldn't fit enough in it. Anyway, I just collect all these little containers, and then who knows when they come useful eventually. Okay, let's jump in. In fact, I'm going to use this Rovivon case to sort of keep. No, I'll lay everything out. Okay, starting out, got a little scalpel blade taped to the top there. That's an extension of that first aid kit. Then I've got the Post-it Note Extremes. If you haven't heard of these, they have a super strong adhesive, not like the normal Post-it notes, super strong, and it's almost like masking tape. So it writes really well, and you can stick it to anything, stick it to wood, stick it to a tree, and it sticks really well. And it's supposed to be somewhat water resistant, depending on how big of a downpour it is, and what it's stuck to. But it's a great way to take notes in this kit. Okay, next I have this little grocery bag. It's just a produce bag because bags are handy. And I don't have anything specific to talk about with that, but just that's in the kit. And I have a silicone band that always comes in handy for attaching things. I've got some wire for gear repair, sort of heavy duty repair, making things, fixing things. I guess a fallback could be snare wire, but that's probably not a good use of time. But unless you know exactly what you're doing. But okay, next we have a lighter. That's the primary fire in this kit. I've got some more, no, this is sail thread. This is sail thread, and I've got 2 sail needles in there, sail making needles. The Smith & Son, the English ones that I love. You can get, you know, much less expensive ones. I'll put both the Smith & Son and the less expensive alternative of these needles, sail making needles, down in the description. Okay, anyway, and then I've got just an assembly of paper clips and safety pins on a locking S-beaner, and binder clips, because those are always handy. Trying clothes, you name it. Okay, then next I have 2 of those towels that you add water to, and they expand into a wet towel, and you can clean up. So I could probably move those into the first aid kit, but I want to keep that kind of thin. Anyway, okay, next I have 2 tinders that go with the lighter. They're waxed cotton fire starters. Some of the better ones that I've used in all my many years of scouting. And this is a glue stick, a part of a low temperature melting glue stick. So that and the lighter, I can just light against it, and I've got glue that is room temperature stable. Oh, I didn't talk about this, but on the lighter, you know, I'm sure you've seen this, but you keep a zip tie under the lip of the gas there, and then you can pop it off and light. But when you don't want it to, it's kept from being able to be pushed down, so you don't run out of fuel. Okay, I've got some Gorilla Tape, the clear Gorilla Tape right here that that sort of is an extension of the other tapes in my kit, but in case I just have this tin, I wanted to have some tape. And because sometimes I grab this tin and go if I know all I need is in here. Okay, here's my backup fire, ferro rod, little mini ferro rod, and a file for the uses that you need a file for. I've got a little titanium emergency whistle. This thing is loud and very lightweight. And that's another signal. Several signaling things in here. Here's a Fresnel lens for sort of a backup fire making, third tier, as well as magnification. So if I lose both sets of glasses, I can still read and see things and work. I keep it in as plastic so it keeps it good. Here's some patches. You can cut out a little piece and patch fabric, which I've done obviously many times. Down jackets or whatever start fraying, or get a poke or get a little ember from the fire, and suddenly you've got feathers floating, and that's a quick repair. Here I've got an extra one of these mini glow sticks in here. And then I've got a signal mirror that is, you know, sort of dog tag. It's dog tag sized and shaped, and it's got an aiming hole. And it actually does a good job. When all this plastic film is pulled off, it's mirror bright, mirror clear. I don't know what you'd say. Anyway, then in the very bottom, in the second to bottom, I have some foil. Aluminum foil for, you could use it as a cooking container, a bowl. It can, you know, wrap up some food and cook it in the fire, you know, whatever you need foil for. I've got, I think this is a square foot or maybe bigger. Actually, I think it's bigger, a couple feet. And then in the bottom, based on an emergency that I've had in the past a couple different times where we were locked out of our storage unit, and I actually had to call my brother-in-law, who's pretty good at who's a, you know, lock picker, and he came and opened it for me anyway. And so I practiced on my own just to be able to open our house or whatever storage unit or whatever I need. It's good to have a titanium set right here. I won't snap these off until I need them, but it's just a card that I found that has all the tools, you know, the tensioners and the rakes, and a variety of rakes. Anyway, pretty irreplaceable if you're in a situation to have to pick a lock to get yourself back in somewhere. Anyway, so that's, leave that out. So that's what's in the tin. And, okay, so I think that is mainly it. I mean, when you think about it with this travel kit, I'll just put this down gingerly right here. You know, what's it missing? Okay, it's missing a knife, multi-tool. But of course I keep that EDC in my pockets. So whatever tool I need for wherever I'm traveling, I'll check it in the bag. And then when I get there, I've got it in my pocket. So it doesn't belong in this kit. In fact, if I kept it in this kit, I would forget it was in this kit, and then it would be a birthday or Christmas present for a TSA employee's child. So, which has actually happened no fewer than 5 times already, and 2 of them Leatherman waves. So, heartbreaker. Anyway, so I don't keep anything in here that isn't fine for TSA, and then I just check, you know, whatever tool, multi-tool, knife, whatever I need for my destination in my checked bag, and then I'm all set. So okay, so I recommend that you put together a kit like this. I'll kind of reassemble so you can, so it looks like it was, even though the contents are all below it of the tin. I recommend you put together a kit like this for your incidental contingencies. The Contingency Kit. I love this thing because you can grab it anytime you're headed out on any of your adventures, on travel, on anything from a day trip on up. This thing is always with me, and I hope this gives you some new ideas. And as always, customize it to what you need, what you do, where you go, what your activities are. Think of all the things where you've been and said to yourself, I wish I had a whatever, and find a way to put it in here, a small version, a light version, a compact version. And it'll be super handy to just grab and go when you need it. This kit has been fine-tuned and adjusted over many, many years and many, many hundreds of trips. Anyway, thanks for watching. I will put the links to everything that I can find in the description. And thanks for watching. Hope you liked it.